Hello. In this review, we'll be talking about the South Korean K21 Infantry Fighting Vehicle, its export version, AS21 Redback, developed for Australia, and the light tank variant. I'll cover the history of the K21's development, why South Korea needed a new infantry fighting vehicle, despite already having other armored vehicles in service at the time, the capabilities of the K21, AS21 Redback, and the light tank version. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. It really helps improve our content. Let's burn. The story of the K21 infantry fighting vehicle began in the late 1980s. Like most of South Korea's military developments, this infantry fighting vehicle was primarily designed to counter North Korea. At the time, South Korea already had the K200 infantry fighting vehicle, but it had serious limitations. The base model lacked sufficient firepower to effectively support infantry. Later versions of the K200 family were improved with 30mm and 40mm cannons, but even these upgrades didn't fully address the need for a more capable infantry fighting vehicle. The K200 could not adequately engage North Korea's infantry fighting vehicles and light tanks. Recognizing these issues, South Korea began conceptualizing a new infantry fighting vehicle in 1989, with key requirements including tracked chassis for better mobility, capacity to carry more than 6 infantry troops, amphibious capability, speed and mobility comparable to the K-1 main battle tank. By 1991, two competing infantry fighting vehicle designs were proposed. Lightweight amphibious version, which was about 25 tons, designed to operate on land and water, required compromises in armor protection to maintain buoyancy, equipped with a turret and cannon. And heavier, non-amphibious version, which was about 30 tons, had prioritized armor protection over amphibious capability and also equipped with a turret and cannon. Both designs had major drawbacks. There were no clear standards for water speed, firepower, or armor protection. Due to these uncertainties, development was repeatedly delayed, and the project didn't fully begin until 1995. When it comes to amphibious capabilities and water speed, things became clearer for South Korea after it began receiving BMP-3 infantry fighting vehicles from Russia in 1995. This allowed South Korean engineers to study the design, capabilities, and, to put it simply, gain valuable experience. Around the same time, Russia introduced the BRM-3K RIS, an amphibious reconnaissance vehicle capable of moving through water at speeds of up to 10 km per hour. This gave South Korea a clear benchmark for the water mobility of its new infantry fighting vehicle and insights into the key design features that needed to be incorporated. For armor protection, South Korea looked to European and American infantry fighting vehicles as a reference. When it came to weaponry and gun selection, their attention was drawn to the Swedish CV-9040 infantry fighting vehicle, which is equipped with a 40mm cannon. South Korea had to choose between a 30mm or 40mm gun, and ultimately, the CV-90 family of armored vehicles appealed to them overall. They wanted something similar, not just in mobility, but also in terms of modular variants. As a result, they decided to follow the example of the CV-9040 and adopt the 40mm Bofors L-70 anti-aircraft gun, modifying it to meet their specific needs. Why was the 40mm gun a good fit for South Korea? The Bofors L-70 was chosen because of its high armor penetration, making it highly effective against North Korean armored vehicles and light tanks. While a 30mm cannon would have allowed for a larger ammunition load, this trade-off wasn't considered a major issue. As a result, South Korea purchased a license to produce the Bofors L-70, designating it domestically as the K-40. By the late 1990s, South Korea had finalized the key requirements for its new infantry fighting vehicle. The project was officially named Next Infantry Fighting Vehicle, signaling its role as a next-generation combat vehicle. In 1999, the South Korean Ministry of Defense signed an agreement with Daewoo to lead the development. However, just a year later, Daewoo was dissolved, and its remaining assets were absorbed by Doosan Group. One of Doosan's divisions continued working on the new infantry fighting vehicle until it was later sold to Hanwha Aerospace, a well-known South Korean defense company. Today, Hanwha Defense is responsible for everything related to the K-21 infantry fighting vehicle. During development, it became clear that achieving a water speed of 10 km per hour would require significant compromises in armor protection, which was unacceptable. As a result, South Korea lowered the requirement to a more realistic target of 6 km per hour. allowing for a better balance between amphibious mobility and protection. The first prototypes of the K21 Infantry Fighting Vehicle were completed in 2002 and sent for testing. Based on the results, several modifications were made. In 2003, the South Korean Ministry of Defense signed an agreement with Doosan to produce 3 prototypes for further testing within the South Korean Army. These 3 prototypes were delivered in 2005, followed by 2 years of extensive trials and refinements to perfect the vehicle. In 2008, a contract was signed for the mass production of the new Infantry Fighting Vehicle. When the first K21 vehicles entered service with the South Korean Army, numerous issues were identified. As a result, the vehicles were sent back for refinements. The improved versions were then delivered alongside the remaining batch of the initial order in 2011. That same year, a contract was signed for the second batch of K21s. In 2012, South Korea signed a contract for a third batch, and as of today, the South Korean Army operates over 460 K21. In 2024, another contract was signed for the fourth batch, which will add 120 more K21 vehicles to the fleet. The estimated cost of one K21 infantry fighting vehicle ranges from 4 to 5 billion won, which is approximately $3 million per unit. Now, let's move on to the capabilities of the K21. The K21 infantry fighting vehicle follows a classic layout. Front left is the driver's position with a hatch and 3 periscopes. Front right is the engine and transmission compartment, housing a Doosan D2840LXE 10-cylinder diesel engine producing 750 horsepower, paired with an HMRP 500-4EK automatic transmission. Got 3 forward gears and 1 reverse. In the middle section is the combat compartment, featuring a 2-man turret with the commander and gunner, each with their own hatch. In the rear section is the troop compartment, capable of carrying up to 9 fully equipped infantry soldiers. K21 weight is approximately 25 tons. Its length 6.9 meters. Width 3.4 meters. Height 2.6 meters. Maximum speed is 70 kilometers per hour and operational range is 450 kilometers. The K21 is a tracked vehicle, featuring 6 rubberized road wheels per side. It is amphibious, capable of moving through water at speeds up to 6 kilometers per hour. To enable water mobility, inflatable rubber pontoons are deployed before crossing water obstacles. When not in use, these pontoons are stored under the side skirts. Troops sit on benches along the walls of the troop compartment. When carrying 9 fully equipped soldiers, space is tight, leading to some discomfort. There is 1 hatch on top of the troop compartment. Infantry enter and exit through a rear ramp, which also has a side-opening emergency door in case of power system failure. The K21's hull armor is made from composite materials, consisting of multiple layers of aluminum alloys, ceramics, and fiberglass. STANAG 4569 Level 4 protection provides all-around protection against 14.5 mm armor-piercing rounds fired from 200 meters, protects against fragments from 155 mm artillery shells detonating 25 meters away, and additional armor plates are installed on the front section, allowing it to withstand direct hits from 30 mm projectiles. The bottom armor meets STANAG 4569 Level 2 standards, meaning it can withstand a mine blast equivalent to 6 kilograms of TNT. The turret's front section is equipped with 2 sets of 5 smoke grenade launchers, 1 on each side of the gun. The turret is equipped with a 40 mm K40 cannon, which has capabilities similar to the gun mounted on the CV9040. The maximum firing range reaches up to 4 kilometers, while the effective range is approximately 2 kilometers. The cannon can fire high-explosive fragmentation, armor-piercing fin-stabilized discarding sabot, and multi-purpose ammunition. These shells are produced in South Korea. It is claimed that the K237 armor-piercing fin-stabilized discarding sabot round can penetrate up to 200 mm of homogeneous armor at a distance of 1 kilometer. However, experts suggest that the actual penetration capability is likely closer to 150 mm. The K236 multi-purpose round can be programmed for airburst detonation, enhancing effectiveness against airborne targets. The cannon has a rate of fire of 300 rounds per minute. The total ammunition load is 240 rounds, typically consisting of 96 armor-piercing fin-stabilized discarding sabot, 84 multi-purpose, and 60 high-explosive fragmentation rounds. The cannon features an automatic loading system, which allows for the use of all 3 ammunition types. The magazine is divided into 3 sections, each holding 8 rounds, with 2 horizontal and 1 vertical section, containing a total of 40 rounds per section. This allows for a total of 120 rounds to be ready for immediate use. A key feature of the loading system is that it allows the operator to switch between ammunition types depending on the target. An additional 120 rounds are stored in the troop compartment as reserve ammunition. The K21 is equipped with a coaxial 7.62mm M60 machine gun, mounted alongside the main cannon. Additionally, a secondary machine gun, either 7.62mm or 5.56mm, can be installed near the commander's hatch. Ammunition capacity of coaxial machine gun is 1,800 rounds and secondary machine gun is 1,200 rounds. The turret has full 360-degree rotation, while the gun elevation ranges from -3 degrees to +45 degrees. The main gun is fully stabilized in 2 axes, allowing accurate fire while moving. The K21's FCS is similar to that of the K1 main battle tank, providing advanced targeting and tracking capabilities. Commander's optics are 2 periscopes, panoramic sight with TV and thermal imaging channels and laser rangefinder. Gunner's optics are 2 periscopes, sight with TV and thermal imaging, with digital zoom and built-in laser rangefinder. Both the commander and gunner have monitors displaying the sighting system's feed. Additionally, a ballistic computer enhances targeting precision. The K21 features a hunter-killer capability, allowing the commander to detect targets and hand them off to the gunner while continuing to search for new threats. It can detect targets on a range up to 6 kilometers and it can be recognized on a range up to 3 kilometers. The commander can view the gunner's sight feed, and an additional monitor in the troop compartment displays vehicle status and can receive feeds from external cameras installed around the vehicle. 2 launch rails can be mounted on the left side of the turret, which are compatible with South Korean AT-1K Redback or Israeli Spike anti-tank guided missiles. Other missile options are available for export variants. Laser warning system alerts the crew if the vehicle is targeted by laser-guided weapons, and it provides audio warnings and identifies the direction of the threat. Initially, South Korea considered 2 K21 variants, 25-ton amphibious version, which is currently standard model, and 30-ton non-amphibious version with enhanced armor. The heavier 30-ton variant offers improved hull and belly armor, alternative weapon configurations. This variant was evaluated by Australia under their Infantry Fighting Vehicle modernization program, leading to the development of the AS21 Redback. The AS21 Redback project began in 2018 as part of Australia's Land 400 Phase 3 program to modernize its infantry fighting vehicle fleet. Australia set several key requirements for the new infantry fighting vehicle, including tracked chassis, capacity for 6 infantry troops, high-level armor protection, potentially enhanced with Israeli armor upgrades, capability to launch anti-tank guided missiles and advanced electronics and battlefield awareness systems. In 2019, 2 competing designs were shortlisted. It was AS21 Redback, an upgraded K21 by Hanwha Defense, and it was KF-41 Lynx, a new infantry fighting vehicle by Rheinmetall. Originally, 450 infantry fighting vehicles were planned for purchase. However, due to budget constraints, Australia ultimately ordered 129 units in 2023, awarding Hanwha Defense Australia a $2 billion contract. The name Redback comes from an Australian redback spider, known for its deadly venom and distinctive red markings. Weight of AS21 Redback was increased to 42 tons. It is significantly heavier than K21. It's no longer amphibious due to increased armor protection. It has improved crew survivability and modular armor design. It has EOS T-2000 manned turret, housing commander and gunner, with 30mm Bushmaster Mark 44S autocannon, which easily can be upgradable to 40mm, and with coaxial 7.62mm machine gun. Optionally can be installed remote-controlled EOS R400S Mark II HD turret with 7.62mm machine gun. And it has anti-tank guided missile launcher for 2 missiles Spike LR, which optionally configurable with other anti-tank guided missiles. Commander and gunner are placed in turret and it can carry up to 8 fully equipped infantry troops. The AS21 Redback's increased weight is due to significantly improved armor, developed in collaboration with Israeli defense companies. Plasan provided modular armor solutions. Elbit Systems supplied the Iron Fist active protection system, The armor level was upgraded to STANAG 4569 Level 5, offering protection against 25mm armor-piercing rounds at 500 meters, survivability against 155mm shell fragments exploding within 25 meters. Additionally, the frontal armor was strengthened beyond the base K21 standard. The undercarriage armor was enhanced to STANAG 4569 Level 4 A 4B, meaning resistant to 10 kg TNT equivalent mine blasts, improved crew survivability in IED-prone environments. AS21 Redback has laser warning system which alerts crew if targeted by laser-guided weapons. Commander and gunner have Iron Vision 360-degree situational awareness system, which provides a real-time see-through battlefield view and was developed by Elbit Systems. It has GPS and inertial navigation system, which ensures precise positioning. Also, it has CBRN protection and automatic fire suppression system. Additionally, perimeter cameras display real-time battlefield feeds, including a monitor in the troop compartment for dismounted soldiers. New engine was installed, MTU-MT 881 Ka 500 with 1000 horsepower. Redback can move with a speed up to 65 km per hour and it has operational range up to 520 km. The AS21 Redback stands among the top modern infantry fighting vehicles, competing with the KF-41 Lynx, FNSS Tulpar, and M2 Bradley in firepower, protection, and battlefield technology. Given that the K21 infantry fighting vehicle was heavily influenced by the Swedish CV90 family, it was only natural that a light tank variant based on the K21 would eventually emerge, and that's exactly what happened. Hanwha Defense believes that a light tank could potentially attract export customers, particularly in the Asian region. Take India for example, which is constantly looking for ways to strengthen its defense capabilities in its confrontation with China. Additionally, several other less wealthy Asian countries might be interested in a relatively inexpensive light tank. In 2013, at the ADEX 2013 exhibition in Seoul, the South Korean company presented two versions of the light tank, K21-105 and K21-120. These tanks were developed in collaboration with the Belgian company CMI Defense. The design was based on the K21 infantry fighting vehicle, onto which a Belgian Cockerill XC8 turret was installed, one version with a 105mm rifled gun and another with a 120mm smoothbore gun. The light tanks retained a weight of 25 tons, thanks to the lightweight turret, which allowed the overall weight to remain unchanged. The level of armor protection remained the same as that of the K21. The crew consisted of 3 members, and the tanks were equipped with an autoloader that could hold between 12 and 16 shells. The fire control system was similar to that of the K1 tank. The effective firing range of these tanks was approximately 2 kilometers, with a maximum range of around 5 kilometers. Additionally, they could fire Faluric 105 and Faluric 120 anti-tank guided missiles, which had a range of 5 kilometers. A coaxial 7.62mm machine gun was mounted alongside the main gun. The gun was stabilized in 2 planes, allowing for firing on the move. All elements designed for watercrossing, which were present on the K21, were removed. The engine remained the same as in the K21, and the mobility and operational range were also unchanged. But why would South Korea or any other country need such a light tank in the first place? Starting with South Korea, it still has M48A5K tanks in service. There were considerations that the new light tanks could replace the M48A5K. Additionally, they could be used to support infantry and serve in an artillery role, firing from concealed positions against North Korean infantry. However, given their level of armor protection, these tanks cannot be deployed on the front lines. Any North Korean anti-tank system would be capable of penetrating their armor. There were no high expectations for these tanks. However, the South Korean military currently does not see a need for them and has not approved further production. South Korea offered these tanks to India, arguing that you can never have too many tanks. India, however, immediately rejected the version with a 105mm gun. If they were to consider it, it would only be with a 120mm gun. Additionally, India wanted the chassis not to be based on the K21 but on the K9 self-propelled howitzer. This chassis is more versatile and has been thoroughly tested. Moreover, India wanted the new light tank to weigh over 30 tons and have enhanced armor protection, rather than the same level as an infantry fighting vehicle. They also requested the installation of reactive armor. There were also considerations for exporting the tank to the Philippines and other smaller Asian countries engaged in active counterinsurgency operations, where heavy tanks are ineffective due to challenging terrain. However, this idea has not yet received any concrete support. In Europe, considering Latvia's interest in the K21, South Korea decided to offer its light tank to that country as well. Latvia has a limited defense budget but still requires military equipment. This could have been a simple and affordable option for Latvia, slightly improving its defense capabilities while allowing South Korea to enter the European market with its light tank. However, there has been no interest in this option either. At the 2023 exhibition in Seoul, these tanks were presented once again. South Korea believed that the global situation had changed. The military conflicts in Europe and the shortage of weapons could potentially revive interest in Hanwha Defense's light tanks. But that did not happen. As of the time this video was made, there was still no interest from any country in these tanks. Nonetheless, South Korea remains optimistic. If not light tanks, then there will certainly be global demand for infantry fighting vehicles. Well, that was the K21 Infantry Fighting Vehicle. I hope this video was interesting and informative for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click like. That's all from me. Wishing you peaceful skies. Goodbye.